Hello everybody, this is Virginia. She was super excited to be here to say hey. All right, welcome back to our Biblical Womanhood Bible study. This is our last week. This is week 12. Super excited. I think it's gone really, really well. If you are new here, welcome. If you go down into the description box, there's a link with the playlist to all of the videos. We've been putting out videos Monday through Friday for the past 12 weeks now, and you can go and catch up. They will all stay up, so if you're just finding this and you want to join in on the study, you totally can. I am super excited about this week because this week's topic is homemaking. So for the first weeks, we have been going through Titus chapter 2, verses 4 and 5, where Paul is giving instructions for the older women to teach the younger women. We're using Biblical Womanhood here by Lori Alexander, The Transformed Wife, and we've been going through these various topics and how they apply, really looking at Scripture. What does it say for us as women, of followers of Christ? How do we live? How do we conduct ourselves? What are the things that we do and we set our priorities on and our focus on? So this week, I feel like, is more so just the, some of the practical applications to these things. It's something that I love, that I'm definitely passionate about, and I kind of want to share that with you guys today. And then this week's topic will probably end up, I already have a list of about a dozen things that I want to specifically focus on kind of as the wrap up to all of these videos, and kind of sharing how we go about some of these things anyways. So be sure to subscribe and tap the little bell icon if you haven't already, and then that way you'll see all of the rest of the things as they go up. We also do Bible studies with our home church here online. We do podcasts based off of Christian-based topics, and I vlog through our homeschool year and share all of our free Bible-based homeschool curriculum. So that's what we've got. Homemaking. Love this topic. Let's go to what page is this? There's no number. Hold on. Let's go to page 91 in our book here of Homemaking. And we're just going to kind of talk about this first page here today. We've got quite a lot to cover this week. And like I said, there's so many things that this week really kind of opens the door for, that I'm really excited to get to share about here on our channel. But Lori writes here on page 91, homemaking is a skill that many young women are no longer taught by their mothers, since many of them had mothers who were away from home all day at their jobs. If you have not done the previous weeks of the study, like I said, go to the playlist so that way you can get caught up. But we have now read through Scripture. It is very clear that women are called to be keepers at home. We won't go back through all of this, but your home is very important, and to give that up and to not be taking care of home, your spouse if you have one, your children if you have them at home, it's very, very important. And this role in our society today has really been pushed away. It's not something that women are to desire. It's not something that is looked upon with great admiration when women do this. And we really see, the fabric of our society is completely breaking down all over the place. And a lot of this, it goes back to home. The home life and the home that is set up makes such a difference. Therefore, it's up to the older women to come alongside of the young women and teach them these skills. Homemaking involves working hard in your home and making it a place of comfort, peace, and order for your family. I have shared my story before, but my mom was a single mom, and she had me and my twin younger brothers. And once they were born and her and my dad got a divorce, she was like, I have to do something. I can't support these kids on, these minimum wage little jobs. And so she went to college, put herself through school to become a teacher, and then she worked very hard. Her goal was to go and become a teacher so she could be off when we were off and be involved in school and all of those things, which were great and admirable. And by the time she got done with it, we were grown. By the time she really got into a good teaching position and she was getting her rhythm down and work didn't quite demand so much of her, I was out of the house. My brothers were teenagers. It was all gone. It was all over. And so when I found myself at 17, married and with a child and a home of my own for the first time, I really had to rely upon my own doing when it came to homemaking, which I'm going to share about. But, and I've shared with you guys before, my great aunt, who she unexpectedly passed away at the beginning of this year. And it's just been so hard. You know, you feel that void all the time. But especially since becoming, you know, a mom and a wife and having a home, she was a homemaker. She was never able to have children, but she stayed at home, and the way she served my uncle, the home she had, the things she was able to do, she was like a second mom to me and to my brothers as well. But when my mom always had to be gone in college and school and working, my aunt was who we had to do all of the things, because she was the one who was always there, and she was such a core key in just who I am today. And I see so often, I mean, the things that I do know how to do, she taught me all of those core homemaking skills when it comes to keeping a home, when it comes to cooking, when it comes to baking, when it comes to cleaning. I mean, with all of these things, that's where I learned. She taught me the core of finances and budgeting and saving and shopping for good deals. Like all of those things I learned from her. She was that core piece. She was the woman I had. Because for most of us, our moms were not this type. Our moms didn't, I mean, my aunt taught me how to sew, how to crochet, all of these different things. That's what I learned from her and my great grandmother and things like that. But for most children today, I mean, they really don't have this anymore, because now most of even the grandparents are the generation that they don't know those things either. You know, we're losing all of this stuff. And so most of us that are here, I'm assuming, are probably finding ourselves in the spot of, my mom didn't teach me this stuff. Like I didn't have anyone who taught me these homemaking skills. The generations, women were encouraged to go to work. These were the things that we pushed towards. I shared with you guys before, but I get myself stuck in these YouTube holes of watching like old instructional videos from like the 40s and 50s and 60s, like makeup tutorials, etiquette, you know, once you start watching one, the YouTube recommends other videos, and then next thing you know, you're off in this like crazy hole. But one that I watched was about conflict within marriage and how to go about it. So it actually was really, really good. But that was, you know, the husband, when it came down to it, he's telling his wife in this scenario of, hey, I thought when we got married, you know, you would maybe work for a little bit longer, but then you would come home and you would take care of the home, and we would have children and all of these things here. We would have this core home base, and instead you're continuing to work. You're continuing to focus on career instead of home. And you start to see so much breakdown because of that. And so most of us, I know, we don't, when it comes to all these homemaking skills, we're like, yeah, cute idea. I love the whole little 1940s little retro thing and your little aprons and whatever. But yeah, I don't know how to do these things. Hold, please. Homemaking involves working hard in your home and making it a place of comfort, peace, and order for your family. Would you say that if you had to describe your home for your family, or for you if it's just you, would you say that it is a place of comfort, peace, and order for your family? Are those the words you would use to describe home? I would say for most people, comfort, peace, and order, it's what we're striving for, but it's not what many of us actually have. Zoe, she's chasing down the cat. Along with homemaking, it's good to study nutrition and learn how to keep your family as healthy as you can, which we will also get to this week. There are many other things you can find to do at home, women. It need not ever be boring. Only boring people get bored. Use your creativity to bless your husband and children in your home. I remember when I was 17, we literally on my I was 18 technically, 17 when I got married, and we had our first child, Travis. And I think, you know, kind of sharing on these things this week, it would help if you know a little bit about me and what I'm talking about. And I want to hear from you guys and where you're at on this. So comment down below or email me. 17, pregnant, got married, had our child. It was like a horrific birth experience. On my 18th birthday, we got the phone call. We had been on a waiting list to get an apartment. on my 18th birthday, we got the phone call that the apartment was ready. We could move in. We wasted no time. That day, it was so funny because I remember so clearly. It's funny the things you remember and the things you don't. Brandon, my husband, was like, for your birthday, go get your nails done, have like, because I'm a new mom. Travis was 3 months old. Things were really hectic, a lot going on, as you can imagine. I mean, anytime when you have a new child, let alone being a teenager and all of this other stuff. And for my birthday, he was like, go have, get your nails done, whatever. And I was sitting getting my nails done when the phone call came in that afternoon. Hey, your apartment's ready. Like, come out and get the keys. It's all yours. And we were so excited. As soon as I got done, I was like, hurry, hurry, hurry. Like, I don't even want to sit here and get my nails done anymore. Just hurry, hurry, hurry. It's fine. And, went home, met him. We went, got the keys, and we got there and we worked all night long. I mean, we worked, getting everything just moved into this apartment. And we had the weirdest collection of stuff that my aunt and my uncle had given us, like hand-me-downs out of their stuff and grandparents and all these different things and random stuff we had. And I mean, we're teenagers. My husband had a ridiculous Star Wars collection, like the weirdest stuff. And we get it all in. And I remember we were so tired at the end of the day. We did all of this, and originally my husband was going to take me out to dinner for my birthday and all this stuff. We ended up ordering something and just eating there, but we're sitting in our house. We're so excited. I remember looking down and my nails were just destroyed, just absolutely destroyed, which normally, if you just got your nails done, you'd be so upset about, but we were just so excited to have our home. But then it sank in of, I don't know how to keep a home. I'm 18 years old now. I have this baby that I'm trying to keep alive and a husband that I mean, we don't know what the heck we're doing. And now we have this home to be in charge of and pay bills and, nobody's going to restock the toilet paper and the milk, all of these things, start setting in, and you start realizing things that you don't have, that you just were used to always having a can opener and, random little things. And then you're like, oh, I didn't buy one of those, so therefore we don't have one. That's happened to us a few times in our life. But, all that starts to kind of set in, and we're just like, oh my gosh, we're trying to figure it all out. I ended up being a stay-at-home mom, and so I was home all day. And this was at the rise of, online mom message boards. And so I spent way too much time on there and, trying to figure all this stuff out. And so it really quickly, for me, in my experience, really quickly, I saw how many things I didn't know, how many things I was completely failing at, and how many things I was just not prepared for. And so I've always definitely been a self-starter, a go-getter. I mean, I definitely have always been very motivated and confident in my ability to figure it out and make it happen. I had my aunt there in town, which was so fantastic that I could ask questions. I would call her all the time. What about this? What about that? She would come over and hang out and, just different things like that. And then I also found, I credit so much to this, and I think the website is still around, but Flylady. I found Flylady because I was frustrated at, I'm really good at creating projects and getting really into my project and then starting another project, another project, and another project. And then next thing you know, everything is destroyed. There's clutter everywhere. And nothing's done. I had started with great intentions, but now I've just made this huge mess everywhere. And I still am bad at it. I have to watch myself. My husband worked very crazy hours. He would be gone from noon till 3, 4 in the morning. And then he would sleep in, obviously, because he had worked all through the night, and then be gone again. And I mean, he would work nearly every day. We really only saw him about one day a week, but he would get so frustrated because he's like, everything is always trashed. What? And I'm like, no, it's not trashed. I'm working on this. I'm working on that. I'm working on this. I'm almost done with that. And he's like, yeah, I get it. But the house is trashed because there's 9 million projects everywhere. And nothing's finished. And so Flylady was a great tool for me anyways, to start to learn how to keep a home, how to keep things neat and tidy, and to prioritize and to get things done and to do all of the things that I really had no idea how to do. Yeah, go ahead. So anyways, that was a huge help for me, because I realized that when it came down to it, I mean, my aunt had taught me so many core things, but as far as normal day-to-day, making nutritious meals appear 3 times a day, keeping a home in order, doing all of these things. I was lost. I had no idea what I was doing. And so I made it all up as I went along. Sometimes I did better than others. Sometimes it was real bad. So I'm really excited to share because this is an area that I have always been very passionate about. I always enjoyed it. But I also believed that if I was going to be successful, and I shared with you guys, I struggled a lot with perception because of being a young parent and the things that people said about us. I was determined that my house was going to be cute. It was going to look nice. Things are like the appearances were going to be fantastic because I was going to prove everybody wrong. And so I would bend over backwards to make sure that everything was just so. So when people came over, you know, I always got complimented on, oh my gosh, did you see their house? And it always smells so good and all of the things. And I would play Miss Mary Hostess and do the stuff. But I still always believed that if I was going to have any kind of success, it needed to be career or, you know, some kind of worldly system like that. And so I continued for like all of the years after that, up until a handful of years ago, pursuing that and trying to still kind of juggle the house stuff and make it appear okay. While focusing on this, you know, worldly success of being, you know, girl boss and all of the things. And so it was funny though, because all of the time of focus on career, college, girl boss endeavors and looking good to the world, when they saw me, they were like, man, look at her. She buys ridiculously overpriced Dior makeup. Clearly she's doing something right. Look back at these things. I'm like, what was I thinking? That's so ridiculous. But whatever. I never found contentment in that. I never felt good. There was always more. Somebody was always doing better. You could never keep up. And I always was frustrated that I did not have the time to be a homemaker, to be a keeper at home. I love doing these things. I genuinely enjoyed them. I always missed that. I, you know, would sometimes think back to being young when we got our first apartment and getting to stay at home. And although I had no idea what I was doing, I was home all the time and I got to focus on that stuff. I was never bored at home. I was always starting something. And when I don't sit well. So that definitely played to I don't sit well. When I say that I'm going to take a day off and take some time to rest, it usually is like maybe a morning off. By lunchtime, I can't. I'll go do something. I'll start messing around in the garden or doing something. I don't sit well. And that's why you guys having like a C-section, which I've had to have with all 4 of my kids, is like torture for me. The recovery process is so difficult for me to sit still. I don't do very good. But for me, I was never bored at home. There's always something to work on, to do. You guys, I embroidered all the things. I did all the computer stuff. I made websites. I cooked things. I decorated. I redecorated. I gardened. I did anything that I can find. I always did all the things. Constantly rearranging furniture, constantly redoing the house. My poor husband, he would get home and at these crazy late hours in the night, and he's trying to be quiet and not turn on all the lights, and he'd like run into furniture and he's like, she moved everything again. I never was bored. And I think so many times, you know, people looking like, what, you just gonna sit at home all day? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, what is there to do at home? There's so much to do at home. And that's what I think is just so exciting about this. When I was in the workforce and I was focused on that, I was constantly like, man, there's so many things I could be doing, I could be focusing on that I know are good things. Even when it comes down to, you know, meals for my family and keeping our home in ways that I can serve others if I had this time and ability. But these are just things that are so frowned upon by society. Like, what are you gonna do? You're just gonna sit around all day? Like, eat bonbons and watch TV? You know, I mean, you can be a homemaker and be completely lazy. You could watch TV all day or sit around reading books all day. You can sit on your computer all day. You can be lazy. Your house can be a disaster. And you could just be a slob. I mean, totally possible that you could just waste your days away every day, sitting at home, never have it together. Or you can be a keeper at home, you can be a homemaker, and you can truly do the things that you should be doing. You can treat it as your calling, as your mission field, and you can work it as such. And that's, I think, what a lot of this and what this is going to open up for us to talk about is really going to come down to. Are you sitting around being lazy, just not getting stuff done? Are you just overwhelmed because there's so much you don't even know where to start? You don't know. No excuses, guys. We're going to go through these things, and I want to hear from you guys the areas that you are really struggling with and really needing some help and encouragement and direction on, because we're going to tackle these things, because I love this topic and I love having things to get up and do. So we're going to get up and do some things. So I want us to really think about what are some strengths? What are some of your strengths in homemaking? So I want you guys to comment below a strength that you have. You at least have to have one, okay? Think about it. What is a strength that you have in homemaking? And then what are your weaknesses in homemaking? Share those down there in the comments, or email them to me if you want them private, or message them to me on Instagram or whatever. But share your strengths and your weaknesses here. I think my biggest weakness is starting too many projects, getting overwhelmed, and then everything kind of spirals out of control. I have to focus on that for myself. I think my strength would be my desire to just learn more. I don't sit well. I like to be up and I like to have the things to do. So as long as I direct myself, I can accomplish a lot of things. But we're going to talk about this stuff. I really want to see what you guys want to focus on. And then obviously Lori has some things that we will specifically address here in this week's study. So you guys go think about that. Comment, let me know. I'm really excited this week. It's going to be fun. As I look over, my daughter is spilling laundry all over the floor. I see her weakness.
I can't find my pants and my shirt.
You just had them sitting on the dining room table. You lost your clothes?
Yeah, they're missing.
She lost her clothes. You guys have an awesome day. I cannot wait to get all of your responses. Make sure you come and you join us back tomorrow as we start working through these things. If there's anything at all their family can do for you, prayer, you need a study book, you need some, whatever it might be, please reach out and let us know, because we'd love to serve you guys in any way that the Lord might use us to. So have a great day, you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow.